Sup, Dibbles? E-Dog back here. Where the fuck have you been? I know. I don't know, man. I've just been not on YouTube, which sucks. But I've returned. I'm here. I want to talk some death metal and maybe some other genres too. So I've just been, going to concerts, a few, and then I've just been working and I've been buying shit. So I'd like to share some of the shit that I've bought. It's been so long that I actually have like two different videos to make on a collection update, though I don't title them that. That's essentially what they are. So, first off, I got some CDs for you here, and these three I bought on an auction on eBay. This guy was basically selling a whole bunch of old school originals, and I was the little snake that showed up and used my my last second tactic, which if you've seen my crematory video, definitely check that one out. But yeah, it's a good strategy. If you're ever bidding on anything, just watch it and wait until the last minute and then really be watching it like a hawk. And the last like 5 seconds, that's when I put my first bid in, and I just put whatever I'm willing to spend, maximum. That way I don't get fucked. So starting off, we have an album by Deteriorate. I don't know how you say this because this word I've never really seen before. Senexuous? Yeah. The Senexuous Entrance. Very cool, gothic, Anor looking kind of artwork with a nice green hue to it. This is a black metal album by a band that was death metal, and they had their first album, Rotting in Hell. I think it was released in 1993. This was in 1996, and it's better. I honestly, I like their black metal work more than the death metal. I think they were good at both, but honestly, this was the peak of their career. Very short-lived band, but Deteriorate. Most of the time when people talk about them, they're not... Dude, I'm fucked on the glare. I just gotta take the artwork out. They're not a band that gets spoken about for this black metal release. It's more so for their death metal, but understandably so. I just think that the style change was not just them being trendy, and how the mid-90s had a shift where things were, death metal wasn't unpopular all of a sudden, but it was kind of struggling. Straight up old school death metal was different in 1995, as I understand it. So, in the same era, we have Deathgrind and grindcore still kicking ass. Unfortunately, it's a suffering genre now. But Fleshless with Grind God. I bet you no one has fucking talked about this one. Oh yeah, I forgot the case is broken, but it's an original CD, which is cool. All of these look great. I don't know. I think the person who owned them probably had enough shit like me to the point where everything is in good shape, and they just didn't play it to death to the point where it would have skips and all that. But the artwork for Grind God, which I'm trying to get you, it's very turquoise green. You got a lot going on here. Pretty cool. I dig this one. It's a very cartoonish kind of... I want to call it Deathgrind. I could see you arguing this was a few different genres, but I think Deathgrind is a good mixture, because it's basically got the death metal riffing, it has the grindcore drums, and then the vocals are just the part that definitely sell it for me. That's what makes this band the most unique, I feel. Trying to figure out how this went back in. That sucks that this thing's broken, but what are you gonna do? That's what makes it the most unique to me, I feel, was the vocals. This band, you'd have to check them out. There is footage of them playing, I got it backwards, whatever, I'll fix it. Of them playing at, what do they call it? It's in the Czech Republic, which is where they're from. Obscene Extreme. There's footage of them playing tracks from this album. I think it was in 2013 or something. Check that out. They're pretty good. I dig it. Those shows always look like fun. And lastly, in our CD bundle here, we have Deranged. high on blood. I don't think I need to take it out of the case because you get the picture. It's a needle with blood. Very good album. I honestly think this production is sharp and it's really like not pronounced in certain things like the drums and the guitars. Everything kind of layers in really nicely. And it's a departure from Sculptures of the Dead and is it X-rated or rated X? It's rated X. I always get that backwards. But this was the follow-up release. This is an original from Sweden. Swedish death metal. Excellent. Well, not death metal. Brutal death metal. They're definitely a little too intense to just be thrown in with like Dismember and Entombed, etc. The Swedish brutal death metal scene, probably a lot smaller, but I think Deranged is definitely the peak of it. I would say this is the band that should be spoken about. And it was a late 90s release, and honestly, it's hard to find. This one, you can find CDs for like 20, 25 bucks. But the record is ridiculously hard to come across. When it does show up, it's like 60 to 70. I'm sure with scalping, it'll get more expensive with time, no doubt. But that's it for the CDs. Now, I did go to Zia Records down in Mesa, and I'm a frequent flyer there to the point that I usually get a discount on at least one record that I buy. But a little bit different here. Grateful Dead. That's not death metal, I know. The Grateful Dead, Live Dead, their first live recording released as an album. And it's a 1969 compilation. Long Dark Star. That is the reason I bought this. I mean, all the songs performed on here are good. I might lose you if you're not into the Grateful Dead, but I will have dedicated videos on this band in the future. So, you know, if you want to check out new stuff, like Anthem of the Sun, right there. Anthem of the Sun is probably one of my favorite Dead albums from the studio works, but their live recordings are really where they shine. Do I have that backwards? I have it upside down and backwards. I had it right for you the first time. Saint Stephen, very good. The 11, also really good. Basically, side A kind of takes it, and B, because Dark Star is a 23-minute performance. It takes up one whole side of a record. I don't care. It's so good. Every time they perform that track, it was always something different. And that's basically the Dead in a nutshell. No two performances were exactly identical. So it's not like with metal bands where you can look up what did they play, you know, their last show from the day before or a few weeks ago, and kind of expect they're going to play these songs and it's going to go this way. Not for the Dead. Not at all. Sometimes a song like Playing in the Band would be 8 minutes. Sometimes it'd be 5 minutes. Sometimes it'd be 19 minutes. You know, they were a jam band. So, kind of the nature of it. This also has their, probably my favorite song with Pigpen on vocals. Love Light. Death Don't Have No Mercy. And We Bid You Goodnight is really short. Also, Feedback. I don't like Feedback. It actually is dog shit. But really, this is, if you're going to listen to a live Dead album and you honestly are versed in the Dead or you're not versed at all, I would start here. I would say the 60s release. I can't get these back in the jacket usually when I'm filming, so fuck it. Yeah, start here if you're trying to get into the Grateful Dead, or if you're just willing to check it out and maybe this isn't something you normally would listen to. Start here, because that, to me, embodies what they were really all about. And I'm getting back to the death metal in a second. I just got one more. Anthem of the Sun. This is a studio release, of which I won't really have many, because I think their studio work is good, but I think it's a little bit, I don't know, not the same. You know, you might understand me with certain bands you've seen live. It almost becomes like, okay, I enjoy seeing them live more than I hear the studio work, because it's two very different things. But this one, was a brand new press. I was going to get an original at some point, and I decided not to because everyone talks about how nice, love how they did the artwork on this. Everyone talks about how nice this pressing sounds. Crazy that most of those guys are dead now. Yeah, time goes quick. This is definitely a band from before my generation, no doubt. But Anthem of the Sun, it's only 5 songs. Really a good record. It's quite short. It's only like 40 minutes. And that shouldn't be short, but for the Dead, it absolutely is. So back behind me, I have the original album cover. This one was what they ended up going with in 1969. And the Fire record is sweet. Definitely much like the Sun. I see why they chose this color palette. Had to pull this one out to take a look at it. Pretty cool. I dig. Like, you know, if you've watched my other stuff, you know I'm not really a colored vinyl enthusiast, so sometimes I get a little surprised when I actually do like one. As long as it sounds good, man. That's my concern. As long as it sounds good, you know. That's really what we're buying the records for. That, you know, at the end of the day. And lastly, return to death metal. Okay, this is where things get a little more interesting, I suppose, right? Putridity, Super Disgorge, The Ignominious Atonement. This album is fucking crazy. I don't really think this is a band for someone who is like just getting into death and like Cannibal Corpse. This is for somebody who's been into Suffocation for a while. You know, they've listened to Condemned. They might like slam like Cephalotripsy, but they want to see just how brutal can an album be, how intense can the drums get, because the song structures are a little bit repetitive, you know? It's not so like technical, and it's really just, you know, beating you over the head with a fucking spoon constantly throughout the whole record. My favorite track would be The Bone Sculpture. If you're gonna check one out, let it be that. Kind of a, this is what I mean. This is ugly. This is some shit ass colored vinyl. At that point, I would rather have black, but it's what I got. It's what I found at the store. If you see this, this is the album I think that they peaked on. They had one that came out after this, but you know, hey, Putridity is pretty good all around, even back to their demo. Their demo is pretty cool. Innate Butchery, I think that's the name of it. Bruh. Fuck it. I don't want to cooperate. And lastly, but not least, if you stayed till this part, drop a like, drop a comment, let me know something that you really want to get on vinyl, CD, or tape. Maybe a recent addition to your collection. Because this is one that people were spending hundreds of dollars on, literally, like upwards of $200. And then they just reissued it for the 3rd time. Pissgrave. Euphoria. Fucking YouTube, man. Fucking YouTube. You gotta be a little careful with that word nowadays. It's not like when reviews first came out for this a decade ago. But this is the 3rd and most likely final reissue of Euphoria. And man, this album. This album changed things for me. This is what got me into Pissgrave. And now I have everything. A little too much, because, you know, they only have 4 releases from their demo to the 3 LPs, and I think they're done. I think that's it now. We basically, unofficially, it's been confirmed that they're calling it quits. You know, maybe we'll see another concert and it'll end up on YouTube or something, but a tour, an EP, another album, it's not gonna happen. So find it, get it while you can. Profound Lore just reissued this one. I was literally doing a job in the woods and I got an email that they just, you know, put this back out for order, and I had no internet connection to order it. So as soon as I came home, that was exactly what I did, and I knew I wouldn't regret it. It arrived like 4 days later, which was really fast. So Pissgrave, definitely classic already. Kind of weird to even say that. It still feels like they're a new band, but I guess after 10 years, you're really not new anymore. Still essential. I would say Pissgrave, absolutely essential. So, yeah, that's it for today. Well, for this video. I'm probably going to film a few more today because I'm so fucking behind. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed. Grateful Dead content coming out in the future. Woodstock 99 content, all kinds of stuff. I want to make videos on just music as a whole. I want to talk about mostly death metal, black metal, grindcore, death grind, gore grind, gore noise, yeah, all war metal, all the metal genres, except metalcore and deathcore. Those are fucking gay.